Okay folks, this is a Prophet 10 and if you buy one, don't be confused if you switch it on, something like this happens here. I put in sound and what's this? What the hell is going on? It's totally out of tune. Why is it out of tune? It's totally analog. And you must understand that these things need to warm up. It's the same with the Moog over here and with the EMS and everything, especially the older ones, or the ARP. This one is from 1972. They have to warm up. So it's a good sign, it's not a bad sign. But if it doesn't go away, just have a look. It depends sometimes on the sounds to switch on. Maybe somebody in the shop made a mistake and fumbled around here and made a user bank, and you take one of these sounds and it's out of tune. Then have a look if the polymod is on and the LFO. So now I switched off the polymod and the LFO. This is one thing. The other thing is there's a tune knob here. Probably you know, but if you're not a Prophet user and you think about buying one, you might be confused even in the shop what's going on here. Tune. You press the tune and it's going to auto-tune and calibrate itself. Calibration is also something that happens quite often with analog synths. And the thing is, you hear the rev4 is in tune immediately. I never had that problems. So now I'm going to initiate it. Here the calibration, and you see it's working, and I'll be back as soon as it's over. It takes quite a long time and you don't interfere with the instrument as long as it does it. Sometimes you have to do it more often than one time, and the shortcoming is I see Matt Johnson playing with the Prophet 10. This is the 10, not the 5. And he said, well, I don't take it to stage. For that I take the Prophet 6. And I asked myself, why? You have such an instrument, everybody's using it on stage in the 80s. Not everybody, but some people. Well, I believe he didn't tell me why. It's not a question of how expensive it is. I think this guy has also Moog 1 and all these things. It's just this factor. I'm not really sure, and maybe there's people out there who use it live on stage, and some forums say, well, it's really an issue with this tuning. Imagine you have to go on stage as a second act after the first one, switch it on, if you haven't switched it on before, and it has to adapt to the room and the humidity, and you have to do this, and you see it really takes some time, and this is not really convenient. That's my opinion. So for that I may take this here because it's not high fidelity in the venue, probably, but in the studio this is perfect. You leave it on and for some hours, and then there will be stability. So let's listen now. It's finished. There's still a little bit of mistuning in there, and there's this vintage knob. Maybe somebody programmed it and put on the vintage, so vintage must be down to 4. It's not perfect, but that's what I like about analog synths. So the next thing is, how does it compare to, let's say, the rev4? I can tell you, and really believe me, it's a difference you can feel here in the room when I play it. I really like the rev4, yes. But if you do this, you hear it, yes. It's overwhelming. It's not just a myth with this analog thing. Maybe even this little detuning in there and the oscillators. It's a totally different feel. Whatever people tell you, you try it on your own. Maybe there's discussions out there, oh, this guy is telling us things. And well, as you see, it's nice. Well, it's a different sound here, but if I take another sound that's similar to the rev4, I can hear it immediately, and I'm an old man, I don't hear above 60K frequencies. So, believe me, it's really a difference. And because people are arguing, well, this is so expensive, I can't take this. Well, this I can take to the stage. It's not that expensive. It's brilliant. It's got all these other things with the effects and so. And what I like about the Prophet 10 is that it's mono. It's sitting in the mix. Everybody's telling you it's really sitting in the mix, and this is really brilliant for such a synth that they had the balls to do it with mono out here. And even CV Inner can connect it in a way to mass here in my Euro rack, or even connect it to the Moog. I think it's a perfect pair, this one and this one for the stage, and to do things I cannot do here. And this one is stereo and this one is mono. But I'm going to show you now what I can do if I attach a very good reverb to this. I recommend Eventide H9. Well, it's not the latest shit, but it's still very usable for synth players. Or take something bigger like Lexicon. But I got the Specular Tempest. I made a video on the Rev4 with Specular Tempest, and it's blowing it up a little bit. If you want to have stereo and want to have it very bright, let's take the first sound. Everybody knows this first sound of the first bank, the 1-1. This is mono, and now watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch to stereo here and make a new panning. So that channel there, the other channel left, and switch on. Now it's on one channel. You hear it on one side, but if I switch on the Specular Tempest, you hear it immediately. This is great, yes, and it's aftertouch. It leaves you breathless if you do that, if you want this. Yes, in a mix I would not really use it, but for ambient music and to get this emotion of this instrument, use something like that, a stereo echo. You go mono in and it's getting stereo out, and you have incredible... So this is how I get this Prophet feel, yes? And you can try different things. If I go into the Specular Tempest, there's also some echoes in here, or tremolo, it's quite good, yes? Just try. Check some more. Yes, the same. So it's much more, I don't say value, there's also a spring reverb in here. Even that is aftertouch, or a nuance, yes? Awesome solo stuff. Let me look if I have an echo in here. Oh, it's a dynamic echo. You gotta be careful that it's not clipping, yes? So as you see, many possibilities like vortex here. hear the chorus. It's nice, but it's weak. So I hope you had some fun and pick up this idea if you haven't already. All in all, of course, this is also emotion, and Dave Smith has been 70 years. He's been in my life without knowing, because I wrote a dissertation on MIDI, I don't know, end of the 80s. And of course, he also invented this, was part of the invention of MIDI, and profit was always a dream those days, and I knew some professional bands using it, but it was too expensive for me. And today you think, well, this is quite a lot of money for this, but it's peanuts against what you paid for a Moog or something like that in the 80s. So nice thing, have fun with it, and yes, I'm gonna switch over to another beast from Sequential I have, and this is the Pro 3, and show you how I use this. Okay, folks, till next time. See you.